Welcome to More Business, More Life TV. And we are always talking about how can we build better systems and better business mechanisms to have more business. Well, we design our ideal life and have more life. And this in right, what's going on in 2020, this is also important because I've seen so many people looking, how do we survive? How do we even thrive during this time? And either of those usually is a lot of people I meet are doubling down. They're working harder. So we want to explore, how do we create prosperity during this economy right now? And we're constantly doing webcasts every month. And so we'll also put the link in there for you to register. So if you want to come to one of our upcoming webcasts where I go deeper into what we're doing with our clients. And today I have one of my clients, Nolan Lowry here. And also I got to also be clear that I'm also his client. So we work together. So I've been able to help coach him in his business. And then he's also the founder and CEO of Resonate Digital. It's a marketing agency that they help me with all of my social media. And probably in the background, his wife is somewhere helping right now as we're live. So yeah, it's a team effort here. And so thanks for being on the show, Nolan.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. It's a pleasure and good to see your smiling face as always.
Yeah, same. We'll have some fun today. We'll probably talk about some happy things and maybe some not so happy things, but ultimately it's in good lessons to help the folks that are watching today. And so I kind of want to, because this is our shorter format show, I want to dive right in. And the first thing, when you noticed what was happening in 2020, and there's been so much, right, that's happened in 2020, when you noticed, earlier this year, when you noticed that this was not a sprint, that this is going to be a marathon of change, what became most important to you in your business?
Great question, Steve. I think the most important thing for me and for all of us here at Resonate has been focusing on making sure we're working with people we love to work with. We're in a time where a lot of people are suffering in their businesses and they've slowed down for them. And I think a lot of people have kind of an instinctual gut reaction to, man, I gotta pour on the gas. I gotta do everything I can to grow the business. And yeah, that's true for us. But by focusing on clients we really love to work with, we're enjoying our work much more. And those clients are the ones that you have for a long time, who rave about you, who bring you other as you like to say, wow clients. So staying really laser focused on working with the right people has been a huge help to us throughout this series of you know crazy unprecedented events we've had throughout the world and in California here with the wildfires. And it's been tragic, the loss of life throughout the pandemic, of course, but we're doing everything we can to find the good in it. I mean, how great is it to be able to walk out on your back patio and work when the weather is great? Well, if we were all in offices right now, maybe we don't get to do that so much. So long-winded answer, but bottom line is working with clients that we really love and want to help has been very important to us.
Well, and I appreciate that. And it's something that, and I always talk about wow clients no matter what. And I see a lot of people grabbing and reaching for any client they can get, and I've also had a little pushback, and I always have, for years I've been talking about wow clients. And because I 100% believe in it, when you work with your wow clients, it transcends we've proven it over and over. You get more results, you get more revenue, you get more raving fans, you get more referrals. It's more of a lot. But I guess since you
Absolutely.
brought that up, I'm really curious, for those people out there that are saying, "Hey, Steve, wow clients, that's great. Nolan, yeah, I love that you have wow clients. That's great. I just want a client." If they're, it's kind of like we're talking about silver spoons, and they're like, "Just give me a damn spoon," so.
Yeah.
But it is a mindset because we're thinking we got to grab a spoon. So for someone, if they said, well, that's great for you knowing that you could work with your wow clients, what would you say to them? Like, how has focusing on wow clients, even during 2020, how has that brought you more success?
Well, in a few different ways, and I hear where you're coming from. I mean, we've been in that position before where we feel like, hey, we got to make payroll, and we're going to be a few $1,000s short, and so we got to do any work anybody has. I don't care if it's taking out their trash. Maybe that doesn't line up with digital marketing, but maybe we should just do it to make payroll. And I'm exaggerating and being facetious, of course, but I mean, I have found that with clients who you're doing work for that might not be what you're best at or really what they need, and usually it might be a combination of both or one or the other, that you don't do your best work and you wind up losing that client usually pretty quickly because you're not really giving them what they need, even though you're really good at it, or you're trying to do something you're not that great at, and they know that, they recognize that, they know they're not getting the best that they possibly could. Then those clients are very short lived. And so, what I've tried to do personally, and I know Angela, my wife, who's the co owner of the company, and our team has tried to do, is when we focus on those wow clients and people we love, really it kind of takes the sales pressure out of it. Because to me, I'm thinking, uh, I want to work with people I can really help. And there's so many out there. And that's really hard to see in times of constriction like this, but there's so many out there. And it takes the sort of yuck feeling or the slimy feeling out of sales, because I don't want just any client. Yes, there are times where we need the money, but I know if I keep reaching out and talking to more people, that I will, without a doubt, because we've worked on this together, that I will find people that really need what we do and really value that. And we're a hell of a lot happier when we're working with those people. I don't know if that's a direct answer to your question, but I guess there are times where you've got to say, okay, for 2 weeks, I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna take this client because we can help them, and they may not be wow to us. Maybe they're not quite the right personality for us, or they're a little bit more demanding than we might want them to be. But you never give up on staying focused on that really wow client that you want to work for the rest of the time that you have the business open. We have clients that we've been working with for a long time now, and I value them as certainly business relationships, but just personal relationships as well.
It does, and that's what happens. Like, wow clients become wow friends, you know? So
Yeah.
it definitely happens. So I'm curious, what it has been during 2020, what would you say has been your biggest success? With all the things going on, let's go to a success point or something to celebrate. What would be the biggest success that you found in 2020?
Yeah. I'm going to go to the personal side a little bit here. Uh, One would be, during all this, we managed to get away and take a few days up in Tahoe, and we were very safe, and we ate in, and um, did treated the pandemic with the importance that it deserves. But we were finally able to just get away and shut down the computers and focus on family time for 3 or 4 days. And since this started with our whole family, we've spent so much more time playing games, doing puzzles, every night, with a few exceptions. But I'd say 90 some percent of the time since the pandemic started, we've all had dinner together. All five of us, we sit down at the dinner table together, and we've had evenings where we spent 2.5, 3 hours at the dinner table just engaged in conversation. Well, I'll tell you, that didn't happen before all this came about. It just didn't happen. I mean, yes, we had two of our kids away at college, so they couldn't be there. But even with the even with the family that was home, we didn't make a point of all sitting down together and spending that time. So those have been really big wins for me this year, and being able to have that balance between living life and enjoying those moments and being really successful in business. And it's the first time in quite a long time, I felt like that balance has been there for me, and I feel like for the rest of us as well.
That's so beautiful to hear, Nolan. So through this, you've been able to have a tighter bond with your family, spending more time, and you've been able to still focus on your business and having all of that at the same time. What does having that do for you?
Uh, it makes me, I wake up with more energy, feeling better. I know that things are going to continue to improve, and yeah, that's a mindset thing. But you also, you perpetuate that in everything that you do when you're coming from that place. So that's really important. I feel like a more successful father and friend and husband and business person when I'm able to have that balance. And you and I have had conversations about this often about from a business standpoint that everything you can do to eliminate, automate, or delegate is really important. And that's been tough for me throughout my career because when I do something and I feel like I'm doing it well and serving clients well, or in past careers, or in other parts of my career serving my boss or director with, then I just want to do it all myself. I've had this mindset where it's easier for me to just do it. I'll just go in and make this website edit, or I'll write this copy myself, or whatever it might be. And by taking the time to train other people to do things and eliminate the stuff that's really not necessary, automating what we can. There's so many great software products out there that help you automate scheduling and tracking time and managing projects, that by putting those systems into place in the business, it does free up time for me to have a life outside of business, more time with the family. And that's that's been fantastic.
It's thank you so much for sharing. And that's what's happening. We have with communication and connection around the world becoming so much easier. We are in a global we have global access to workforce. We have so many pieces of software and automation that can be done. So much can be done to work smarter instead of harder. One of my mindset coaches told me, she said, "You have that Italian coffee grinder still. And, now you can go and get a coffee grinder. It's like, zzz, but then you still like reach for that damn old coffee grinder, because of like really old habits and even family systemic patterns. So grateful to see that you're using this automation, you're using team and delegating, and that's coming to fruition, and you're able to have more. Basically, you have more business and more life, is what you just described. So I'm just
That's
curious to
exactly right.
take us and thank you, and to take a step back, because I want to identify like how this change happened, so we can help more folks that are watching or listening to this. What was it like before this? Like, if you were to go before this success that you're having now, even now in 2020, but if you were to go back, um, what was it like before? What were the challenges you were up against?
There was a few. I'd say the biggest one is that I'm the one who is really responsible in the business for bringing in more business, for finding the right people to work with. And I was spending so much time in the on the production side. For example, it might be helping to manage the development of a website, or it might be writing copy, or everything under the sun, where I was using myself as one of the basically a production team member. And so what would happen is I wasn't spending enough time talking to people and sharing what we do and finding clients who could really benefit from what we do. So it, as you know, if you're not getting your name out in front of people and making people aware of who you are, your business eventually starts to shrink.
Yeah.
So that really hurt us. Um, that it also hurt us because I wasn't having the meetings with Angela and the rest of the team that need to be had to be working on the business instead of in it. So everyone felt a little misguided, and we weren't on the same page. It felt like it always felt like we were trying to build the landing gear on the plane as we were flying it. And that's just it doesn't work. It's so much stress and chaotic feeling around that. Everything's always really frenetic. I had a bad habit, and Angela will tell you I still fall into this sometimes, but I had a bad habit of always promising that we'd get stuff done for clients really before they needed it. And it was just a way for me to try to um, make them happy. And so, some of the things you and I have worked on together is, well, when do they really need it? You got to ask that. You got to find that out, because if you're thinking they need it in 2 days and really 2 weeks is fine, then you're just causing you're putting undue pressure on yourself. So that was a real problem. So there was a whole slew of problems that were really um, mitigated by taking the time to, no matter what, you commit to that team meeting. And whether you're doing that once a week or twice a week or what have you, you take a step back from all of the deliverables. And you've always got a lot of those. You take a step back from all the deliverables and you say, okay, what's most important to do now? What's most important to do next week? How can we approach each of those things in the simplest, easiest way possible? How can we manage and map out people's time so that they're most effective and not feeling overwhelmed? What do we need to apply in our business that'll help us run even more smoothly, say a month, 3 months, 6 months down the road? What other piece of software or types of processes can we implement so that we are constantly improving and becoming more efficient as a business without taking any of the quality of service that we're providing to our clients away? In fact, it gets better, because instead of constantly freaking out, I have till 5 o'clock to get this done. Oh my God, it's 3:30. I know it's going to take me at least 3 hours. Instead of always being in that space, you're a week or two ahead of what needs to be done. And everyone can just breathe a little bit and enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that, you were working and picking up all those jobs that you necessarily didn't need to do. And maybe there was some training that had to be done, or maybe it just needed to be delegated, especially with the time frame situation you're bringing up. That's where this can be a dilemma, right? Because oh, this has to get done tomorrow. I don't have time to delegate it. I better just do it myself. So you're just causing
Right.
this wave, and then you're missing meetings with your own team, and you're not having enough business development meetings. So it basically caused this wedge between you and progression in your business, is what I'm hearing. And when that was all happening, how did that affect you?
In a couple of ways, from a business standpoint, it just affected us in we weren't growing. And that hurts when you're growing. You want to be bringing more good people onto the team, because that's just, it's fun to work with more people who love what we do and who want to learn and become better. We're not working with more wow clients, and it gets very stagnant and not what you want to be, not the way you want the business to be flourishing and growing. And all of that chaos was hurting that, as well as I never could just completely unplug and leave that. Even when I wasn't in front of a device, it was always in the back of my head. You know, what? God, I still got to get that done. I better work on that this weekend, because we got to get it to the client on Tuesday. I've got stuff scheduled on Monday, so I better work all weekend to do it. And that's no fun. That's not a fun way to live your life. If kids want to go hang out and do something, or we want to make a meal together, or I just want to go play golf for an afternoon. And that can't happen when you're constantly, when you've got that always going in the back of your mind. Even when you're out on the golf course, I'm thinking, well, I probably should, I need to get through this quickly so I can get back to my laptop. And that's awful. It's just not a good feeling at all.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and definitely I've been there myself before, and so I definitely can imagine. I can go back in my mind. And so now thank you for sharing that, because I think many folks feel this, especially when you're running a business where you're not only running the business, but you're also the main business development person. So even if you have other sales or leads coming in, you're still like, it's still up to you, and you're running the business. So you have like basically two jobs. And then if you're spending more time in any one of those, then it just compounds the effect. And so I guess, coming forward, what was it? Is there, if you were to start with one thing, what was, because I know it was more than one, but if we were to pick the one thing that started to make the greatest impact of change going towards the way that it is now, what would be the one thing you would pick to highlight?
This started even before everything that's happened with the pandemic and all the changes that we've seen in the world over the last 9 or 10 months. Is scheduling and spending focused time on reaching out to people and having conversations, and not necessarily just about what we do, and what we do as a company, but just finding out how people are doing, and what we might be able to do to help them, either on a personal level or a professional level, what their goals are. Because maybe they may not need anything in terms of digital marketing, but maybe they're remodeling their house and they're looking for a great electrician, and I happen to know one. Well, I love helping people. It's been a real joy to do that, both personally and professionally. I've started a mentorship program where I'm helping people with marketing, and that's a big joy of mine. But just going into those conversations without any sort of ulterior motive that, hey, maybe they can hire us to do something, or maybe they know somebody at a big company that could hire us to do some digital marketing. Just letting that go and scheduling time every day to just reach out to people and have those conversations. And I was always reluctant to do that because I thought, well, I can't spend time on that. I have too much other stuff to be doing. I just can't spend time on that. I need to be just talking to people that uh, might be able to hire us. Well, the truth is that what's important in life are those relationships and those connections. And if it's meant to be for them, if that person you're talking to is meant to be a good fit and you can help them and they can help you, awesome. If not, maybe they know somebody that there is that fit, and maybe they don't, and it's just a chance to catch up with somebody and talk about their family and kids and everything that's going on in their life, which I think makes everyone feel better. Just those genuine human connections. I know it does for me, and I think that's been a big shift in the business, is that I don't view having conversations with people as uh, as as that they need to be business opportunities at all. Um, I just want to connect with people, and we'll grow the business with the right people. And there's a company that can help everybody, and we may not be the right one for someone that's looking for digital marketing services, and that's totally cool, because there are plenty of people that are great fits for us that we can help. Um, and so that's been a big shift for me, just shifting the mindset around connecting with people and growing our business.
Beautiful. And when you do this, since you've shifted this mindset and you're focused on connecting, and what is having that do for you and the business?
Well, it has grown the business. I mean, in talking to all these people that I've reached out to, and it's funny because people know that we own a business and that we do digital marketing, but that's really kind of foggy and hazy to a lot of people. They don't really know what that means. So just by connecting with them and finding out, really what do they do? Because I don't often know. They might work for a company, and I've heard of the company, but I don't really know what they do. So by just sharing those things, there's been quite a few occasions where they've referred us to people who can use our help, and that's worked out, and we've been doing great work for them, and it's very satisfying for us, for the client, for the person that connected us. So that's been really good. And it's also just, I mentioned this before, but it takes away any feelings I have of, uh, I'm just bothering this person. I don't want to reach out to this person because I'm going to be just bothering them, because They don't want just another sales guy knocking on their door and saying, hey, we do social media and we build websites and we do this and that and the other, and want to hire us.
Yeah.
So, you know, that doesn't work and it's no fun. So this approach has helped to just free that up for me. And I don't ever go into a call hoping that it's going to turn into business. If it does, fantastic. If not, hopefully we can at least make a good connection and decide, hey, let's go have a beer sometime when things clear up and we can go out and do that. Or let's touch base in a few months. Or hey, when we get up your direction the next time we can travel, let's make sure we hook up, or something along those lines.
Got it. Yeah. So it goes transcends business. Although it's grown your business, it allowed it to be the way that it is, and really truly connect with
That's
others.
right.
And
Yep, that's exactly right.
I'm curious, as we work together and you brought us on to help you in your business. I'm curious, what would you say has been the biggest success from our work together? What thing would you highlight there?
There's been a lot, Steve. I think, I really value the friendship we've developed together. I think we understand each other and we communicate really well. We have a lot of laughs and that's fun. And a lot of what we've talked about that has contributed to the growth and success of Resonate have been things that we've worked on together. The delegating and automating things certainly is something that we've had a lot of conversations about, and that's been really helpful for you to share that with me, and some of the things that have worked for you. The the approach towards reaching out to people and connecting with them. I know you tell a story about call your mom,
Yeah.
where you owned an agency like we have, or there were similarities, and how that wound up leading to a big client for you, and that really resonated with me. And that, hey, I'm just calling to have conversations, and my mom might know somebody or my cousin, and they might not, but heck, it'd be great to talk to my mom and my cousin anyway. So
Yeah.
there's just a lot of fundamental, if I had to boil it down to one thing, Steve, that we've worked on together, it's really the mindset around it. It's really the mindset around being positive and lightening up the load for myself, and understanding that I don't have to do everything. We don't have to work with everyone. We don't have to set artificial deadlines so that we drive ourselves absolutely nuts. But it's just kind of a deep breath, relax. Things are going to all work out as long as we stay focused on helping people. Really, that's what it comes down to. When we're working with the right people and we can help people, then everybody wins.
It's so beautiful, and finding that is through conversation, because to meet people, to connect with them, people that you already knew or people you have just met, connecting with them, then you can truly find out if it works. If you're meant to work together. And like you said, there are many other people that can work together, and that's what I
Yep.
often found too. Is that when I saw that I could help someone, I thought that I should, and even though it wasn't the right fit, and sometimes I would even drag things out, even though like I knew that I probably shouldn't work with them. And I remember this one guy, I dragged things out a bit, and then I finally came clean and said, I don't think we should work together. And then the guy flipped it, and it was a learning moment for me. He said, why didn't you tell me this from the beginning? I have this feeling that you already knew this in your heart. And I said, yeah, I did. And he said, well, you know what? No would have been the best answer in this case. And no or yes are both great answers. And I said, I know, but I really wanted to help you, so I didn't want to let you down. And he said, well, this actually did let me down, because now it took longer for us to make this decision. And if you would have told me no, I would have found the right person. And even if you can't refer me, because I said I was trying to search in my mind who else to send you to, but I couldn't find it. And he said, that's fine. Just say that, and then let me continue to search. But I stopped my search because I thought it was you. So I delayed, and I was like, like it totally hit me like bricks on the head. I was like, you know what, when I delay giving someone the no, and I had to come to the agreement with myself that it's okay if someone might be upset with me in the moment, but they're happier in the end, than if I make them
Yeah.
happy in this moment and then they're not happy in the end, which is what happens when we take on clients that aren't the right fit. And so you've highlighted that so well. And I just wanted to bring that story back because that's what's shifted. And then that's even through our work together what shifted. And so when you can, so I'll just ask again, and we kind of already iterated this, but maybe something more will come from it. And we're coming to the close here. But with having this and finding this way to communicate and find the right clients and work with them and being able to have this growth, what has been the big takeaway from you? What does having that do for you, Nolan?
Yeah, well, to continue with what you were just saying there, uh, clients or potential clients, they really appreciate it when you say, you know what, this isn't really, I don't feel like this is a great fit, but I know this company over here or this person over here who might be able to help you. And then you make that connection for them. You introduce them to each other if you can, if you feel like there's a good fit, and they appreciate that so much more than getting into a business relationship that's not going to work out that well. And I'd say that um, I'm this is going to sound repetitive, I know, but really the value in all this, the work we've done together, and we've worked together for a few years now, the value in it, the biggest value in it for me has just been really the belief now that our business can grow and thrive um, and get to the levels we really want it to, as well as everything we want to do personally, which is travel, when we can do that again someday,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and have new experiences together. All of that's coming. Part of it is already here, but all of that's continuing to come. And it's just by doing the right things, making the right business decisions, which are always based in what's best for the client and what's best for us. And sometimes that means saying no to a potential client. Sometimes it means going to a client and having a hard conversation saying, hey, we're doing a lot more than we had scoped out in the beginning, but it's working really well. But we need to raise our prices with what we're doing because um, we want to give you everything that you deserve, and we know what's working, and so this is what we need to do. And you know what? They appreciate that candor too. They may say, hey, we just don't have it in the budget, so let's scale back a little bit. Or they may say, it's absolutely right, everything's been working really well, let's pour on the gas.
It makes sense, and it's being really
Yeah.
transparent and direct and open and honest, and I think that drives that for me, that drives everything and why, we're so specific at this. And so I appreciate this conversation, and I think, folks that are listening, the takeaways here are, to give time and space for yourself, be true to yourself, take on the work that you're meant to take on, really lean on your team and give space for your team and be able to have more conversations with more folks, and the right ones will come along. And it's kind of like farming. If you plant enough seeds, the crop will come. If you only plant one, then you're going to be restricted to that one, and then that's where the force or it all rides on this one tree, and then that's where that ickiness comes in. So I think these are all things we learn, and we are doing quite a few webcasts, at least a couple a month. And so I just want to encourage, like a lot of things that Nolan was bringing up, we've been focused on teaching people in 2020. And so we're going to have another webcast coming up. You can definitely check that out, and it's free. It's a way that we've been giving back so we can help you. And many people have been turning a corner and being able to prosper during this time, like Nolan and Resonate Digital Marketing. They've been able to apply these techniques so that they can have these results right now during this economy. And Nolan, I just want to thank you again. Tons of gratitude. Thanks for coming on the show and sharing your story. And I hope it helps others to hear that, hey, they're not the only one going through these challenges and now seeing you and the success you've had. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Steve. Appreciate you, and always enjoy our talks together. So thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. All right, everyone. This concludes More Business, More Life. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, choose gratitude and create freedom. We'll see you next week, every Tuesday, 2:15 Pacific time. We